Not sponsored by Hardee's, but if you will.
Are we live? Do we have audio? Do we have video? I'm assuming. Fat Boy's already in house. That was a pretty cool stream you guys did last night. I didn't get to watch it all, but
Nick's a good cat. I was just.
It looked like he had a good time.
Yeah, I was happy he jumped on.
Yeah, sure.
It was a fun live.
Cool, cool.
Oh, I'm on private chat. No wonder I can't see anything.
Guys, we got 20-something people in here. Do we have... Let's see here, some fellows. I'm here. Do we have audio? Can you guys hear us?
I can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. I see the
That's
time
plus.
going.
That's plus. I guess we are good. I just want one person on here to tell me we are good. Three
Yes.
amigos.
There we
Dave,
go.
we good?
Bob said, yes, we're good.
We're good. We are good. So you guys can see all the comments too then?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Very cool. So Tackle Junkies, what's going on, fellas? As you can see, we got these two handsome fellows with me tonight. BassGeek, DEBO. I'm sure you guys have heard these guys mentioned on the channel a time or two, but if you haven't, BassGeek, DEBO, if you guys would introduce yourself real fast. Hank, I know you are eating. Maybe DEBO, you go first.
I'll stop.
Go for it. Go for it, Mr. BassGeek.
Just a quick intro.
You know, my YouTube channel is called BassGeek. Everybody kind of knows me as BassGeek. My name's Hank. I fish, primarily boat, do some tournament fishing, and just enjoy that the Highland reservoirs that I fish, and the deep bite is on.
Are we talking like 90-foot top water action again?
No, not quite that deep right now. 20 to 30.
Even that's crazy for me. DEBO, what about you, man?
I'm DEBO. Devin is my name. Everybody calls me DEBO anyway, so it doesn't really matter what my real name is. I fish anywhere I can. Anywhere there's water and there's some fish, I'm down. So
that works.
Yeah, man.
So is your family, friends, everyone call you DEBO?
Everybody does.
Your
yeah,
wife,
my family doesn't, but yeah. My wife usually calls me a few choice names.
So what has been working for you guys here lately fishing? What's been like your go-to bait the last few weeks?
For me, man, it's ledge fishing. So it's, it's just, you've got a ton of baits out on the deck. You'll get out there one day and, my favorite, surprise, surprise, a swim bait or a underspin is going to be working, or you'll get that, that big head and spook, one knocker working. And, and then other days it'll be a spy bait, a big worm, a deep diving crankbait, and, or, a hair jig, or, it's just, you just Carolina rig. It's just, you got to cycle. You just got to cycle.
Right. I think in a video you released today, you mentioned that you prefer the one knocker, right?
Yeah. During the summer.
Mm-hmm. And why is that?
Well, I heard this somewhere. I don't know where. It might have been in a 1982 Bassmaster magazine. But the whole, multiple BBs actually sound like a group of smaller bait fish trying to flee. And I think during the summer, after the shad have spawned, but really just before they begin to move out, those yearling, hatchling, shad, I think you're able to throw those bigger baits, because how it is as we progress into the fall, those bass really start to chase those small schools of small shad.
Right.
And so I think that one knocker, it's on a topwater, it's something different that not a lot of guys are really paying a lot of attention to.
Right.
And B, I think it just sounds, when you're really walking it, especially for largemouth, which is what I target during the summer most of the time, and you got that loop knot tied on, and you're out there deep, really have to fish it slow. So you really have to get to that apex to each side, you know, and when it does that, it's just got that click, 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 you know, so you've got that cadence. And I think maybe it sounds a little deeper, a little more like a single bigger bait fish, you know, that's maybe struggling on the top.
Gotcha. While we're on top water, are you a braid to leader guy, braid, or just mono?
For me, I can go either way. I'm going to get a little more casting distance out of braid to leader, but a lot of times if I'm fishing over deeper water, and by deeper water we'll say the fish are 15 feet or deeper, okay? You know, largemouth are like fat guys. You know, you work and everybody wants to throw those big, you know, those big top waters, and they want to chug them as fast as they can go. Well, by the time you catch a fat boy's attention and it's done passed, he might come up and then he's going to go back down. He's like, that's too much work for that.
Too much effort right there. I got you.
So you get that nice big wide glide. And, you know, it's the same way. If you think about it, you hear about the difference between open water swim glide baits and, you know, cover glide baits. So an open water swim glide bait really is what's called a wide glide. And so it's the same difference. You're calling those bass to come up. And then when they get there, a lot of times it's not a big just boom, because they're not coming up at 100 miles an hour. They just come up and just go, and then that's it.
Gotcha. DEBO, what about you, man? What have you been catching them on?
Let's see. I've had a couple good days with the buzz bait. I've been really trying to force the frog issue. I thought it was going to be frog heaven today, like 3 casts in, and I caught a 2-pounder. I'm like, oh, dude, it's going to be on. And then, man, I just got my face kicked in. It was a grinder, dude. I think I caught 3 fish all day. I caught one on one of my ploppers that I painted, like a little DEBO dink, one on a swim jig, and then it was just, we hopped around different places trying to find fish, and it just didn't pan out. We shouldn't have left the first spot. I don't know why the hell we do that. Like, we had overcast. We should have moved different spots. We're like, let's try a different lake. Like, we think this one should be really good. By the time we got there, there was a storm coming over us at the first place we were at. So we had like beautiful cloud cover. It was like, I don't know, 70. And then by the time we got to the second spot, it felt like it was 187 degrees. And like somebody had a magnifying glass with the sun on me. It was just burning my face.
You didn't just switch spots on the lake. You actually went to a completely different lake.
Yeah, we drove about 45 minutes to a different one that we thought was going to be amazing. And it was not. Oh, man. It was a bad gamble. But you have those days. Yeah. Topwater buzzbait. Wacky Rig has really been doing work this year for me. I don't know. You know how it kind of goes. It's a cyclical thing. Like one year you're really big on this thing. And then, you know, I had really good luck with a spinnerbait earlier this year. And a lot of the places I fish are already all grassed up and such. So you can't even fish a spinnerbait. So whatever they'll eat. Texas rig, of course, like every year, I think a Texas rig is one of my fallback lures too. So
right.
Run like a creature bait or a worm or something. But
I always say a Texas rig worm, probably more bass caught on that with every other lure combined.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yep.
Find wood, pitch to wood around here. That's been my deal. So.
There you go.
Me and my boy, just for a few hours the other night, right before the storm, we went back to the ponds and were throwing buzz baits. That video should be coming out either Tuesday or Thursday. But dude, it was that one picture that I sent you guys. That was one of the fish caught that day. But believe it or not, my youngest, Michael, this was the first time he threw a buzz bait. And believe it or not, dude, well, I'm not going to take blame for one of these, but but he seriously had 2 5-pounders on. One we got to the boat, and like I said, it'll be in the video. But I do believe it was the equipment that he was using, the fact that he just never done it before. I don't think really he had either fish actually pinned past the barb. You know what I mean? But the one we got up to the boat flopped off. It was easily bigger than the one I caught, which was 491. But it was a fantastic day on the buzzbait at the ponds. And just going to the main lakes that I fished. Spinnerbait's been pretty decent there. But other than that, it's been pretty slow.
I love a buzzbait bite. It's just,
Oh, yeah.
it always seems like there's a buzzbait bite is always violent.
Oh, for sure.
There's never an easy buzzbait bite. It's always just bam.
Right. Let's see who's in here now. We got Richard in the house. Old Bob. Greeting to the chat.
What's
Welcome,
going
Jim,
on,
Hank,
Bob?
Debo. Bring it, gentlemen.
Bob, how are you?
What's going on, Nathan? Fat boy in the house.
Luke.
What's up, fat boy?
The old ladies in here. Joseph. Team Bass Pack. Bank bassing on the weekends. If you guys have any questions, make sure you guys leave them down below here, and we will get to them. Elaxel 5. What's going on, Dave?
The three amigos.
Yeah. The three beards. The three beards.
The three amigo dance.
I've seen that. That's not what you're doing back there. Did you finish your lunch? Was that a pretty good sandwich?
I'm going to hold off on someone said to bring it. I brought the Hardee's, ranch and bacon fries. So,
Are we going to do a quick review on that sandwich or no?
the sandwich was delicious.
I want to know that. What's your guys' favorite condiment?
My favorite condiment. Gosh, it just really depends on what it is.
I'm a ranch guy. I ranch
I
on
like
it.
ranch. I agree. You can't. There's hardly anything that you can put ranch on that's wrong.
I'm going to say ketchup.
I'm a big
Ketchup's
ketchup
pretty
guy.
solid.
I'm
But
probably going to catch heck for this, but I even like ketchup on a steak.
I've made ketchup on a steak. It's all right.
Yeah.
My son-in-law likes mayonnaise on a steak. I was like,
Oh
what?
my gosh. Well, I don't feel so bad now putting ketchup on there.
I have to say either is a cardinal sin against the great steak.
What's going on, Ed? Tim's in the house.
Ranger, what's up, brother?
See, Fat Boy says, legend has it Debo has been sitting in that chair drinking since 8 p.m. last night.
I saw that. After today, I wish I would have been. I should have just stayed here.
So Joseph Keller says, I can't get them to bite deep. I think, really, Hank, he's about the only one that fishes deep here. Debo, how deep do you usually fish?
To me, deep is like anything over 10 feet. Like I fish anything like 10 to 12 feet is not really deep for me, but like once I start going out past 10 feet and have to really start changing up my stuff, like I'm out of my comfort zone. If we're like, hey, we're going to go crank 15 feet, deep. That's not really deep. Like, your boat's shorter than 15 feet, but as far as like me fishing it, I don't do that all the time,
Right. Now your water clarity, it's fairly clear, ain't it?
Mine?
Yeah, for you, where you fish, or you pretty stained, or
we've got everything. Like we've got some of the reservoir type looking places, the impoundments and stuff that are gin clear that you can see quite a ways. Then we've got spots like we fished today that were dirty as heck. You could see, a foot maybe. So
yeah, for the most part, I mean, on a good day, 6 to 8 inches visibility. If I'm not at the ponds, on the main lakes that I fish, that's what it is. So I mean, 6 foot's deep there. You know what I mean? I don't believe the fish are going to be all that deep in that really dirty water.
In that dirty water, rarely are they ever out there deep like that. When you talk about getting them to bite, especially if you're first learning, a lot of it's really going to depend on hit a 4-point axis. And what I mean by that is make sure whatever your confidence bait is. I always start with a swim bait because it's a moving bait and it looks exactly like what they're eating. And most of the time, generally, I'm going to try and just see if I even get a peck on that. That's sort of my tester bait, but hit them from 4 different directions. That's a big key, and that's a huge mistake that a lot of people make. Have you 3 good, solid baits that you just trust and believe in? Swim bait for me, football head jig, and I go back and forth between a mag Nico and a mag shaky head, and even a wobble head. I can reel it quicker, but don't get caught up if it's just one spot. You got to remember those fish will feed for whatever reason at different times of the day. You can come to one group of fish and they may feed at, 8 a.m. today, and tomorrow it may be 3 p.m. So,
gotcha.
Don't spend a lot of time. Build confidence in a few good baits that you believe in, whether they're creating a reaction like a crankbait, and make 2, 3, 4 casts, change position, 2, 3, 4 casts, change position, 2, 3, 4 casts, and leave. Don't waste a lot of time.
Gotcha. A little square bill action down there, DEBO?
Yeah, he was talking crankbait, so I was just adding visual aid there.
There you go.
I appreciate the price is right.
I'm like a hairy, ugly Vanna.
Steven says, on the water with Fluke Master Friday, and he put a hurting on the bass with a Texas ray worm.
Yeah.
Old Fluke, man. He's a good old boy. See, Nigel just popped in to say hi. We'll have to watch later due to other commitments. Appreciate you stopping by, man. We got about 80 people in here. If you guys have not hit the thumbs up, please do that. Really do appreciate that. Leather Stocking Angler, what's going on, man? Wacky and Paddle Tail Swim Baits was working for him. See, Bandito Bug for Dave last night. That's got to be the most popular Guggen bait. You hear so much about the Bandito Bug.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you look at that bait, it's a play on the rage bug, the structure bug.
Structure bug, yeah.
But what's the one thing about the structure bug you hate? How easy the nose is to tear.
Mm-hmm.
It's so easy to tear, just flipping. And if you look at the Bandito bug, it's got a lot more meat, a lot more girth. Yeah, I said it.
Girth.
Oh,
drink it up, man. You did that on purpose.
I did, in the head.
Oh my!
He's probably never even seen a Bandito bug. He was just hoping to have the girth.
Here's a shirt that my daughter got me for Father's Day.
That's cool. I like that hammer on there. Well, Fat Boy heard DEBO was on him today.
He's rubbing it in. He's being a jerk.
Oh.
See, White Hawk Outdoors, Sweet got home to catch all three of you. Hope you're keeping safe in the heat. It's pretty hot your guys' way?
80, high 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here today.
Yeah.
Just when you're down in like the valley in one of those spots where there's zero wind and it's like all humid in the plants and stuff and you're bank fishing, dude, it just was like, whew, it was rough.
And we've had a ton of rain the last couple days here too.
Yeah.
That's the killer for us is just the humidity. Because, I mean, you're in the mountains. It's just nothing but trees and bushes. And
All right, Nathan's got one for BassGeek. What to throw in deep water? 20-ish plus, clean but stained, old quarry.
I'd definitely start with my first question would be how clear. That would dictate what type of swim bait I would throw. I like the paddle tails, like the Shadowlicious, the Bass Tricks, the Zoom Swimmer, but they have a lot of body roll. They're really, really, they move. So if I'm in, let's say, 10 foot of viz or more, I like to go with something that's more of a paddle tail. Like the baits that I'm going to be testing out with Big Bites, which are the suicide shads. They're a solid body, but they don't have a lot of body roll. They'll get a little head roll, but they have a lot of tail action, so they're a little tighter. It's just it's just like a crankbait, wobble versus wiggle. Fat versus wide. No, flat versus wide. So, that's sort of the deal. Especially if you're seeing them on your graph, that's where I would start. And like I said, then it's just, get you a few dragon baits out there, 20 foot. I'd definitely be using at least a half-ounce head. And then I'll go all the way up to, because of the different types of speed, you can get a little more reaction. If you throw that ounce head out there, sink it to the bottom, you can crank it a little faster too. So I'm generally slow as you go when it comes to the swim bait. I'm generally that guy, but every once in a while, the other way will work. And an underspin on a 3.5 inch smooth side crankbait, not necessarily a Kitech, because again, that Kitech has such a wide tail wobble to it. And that can be a great, because it's just something that not a lot of people throw out there on those deep fish. Sorry, guys. You start talking to me about this, and I'll do a whole.
Hey, that's a great answer, man. Great answer. A couple of donations I want to get to real fast. Rance Clark, I do appreciate the $5, buddy. And Army Outdoors 88N, appreciate the $5. What's up, brother? Crankbait did it for me last night. Got a double on a Weston floating crankbait. Very cool. I tell you what, we got one of them Westons in our MTB box. Those are some pretty sick colors on there too. There was their red craw, and then there was like a chartreuse and blue one, which was pretty slick. And there's a little giveaway tonight. You guys do not have to donate for the giveaway. Everyone will be entered. Going to give away a little elite box here. I think it's like a $40 or $50 value. We'll just pick a random comment at the end of the stream, and one of you guys will win that. So to stay on during the stream, and you guys will get a shot to win that at the end. But I do appreciate the donations there. Get back up to where we were. Let's see here. Well, Fat Boy, what kind of areas are you guys throwing topwater walking baits? Who wants to go first on that one? I'll go and take it.
Yeah,
mainly for me, because for the most part, I fish pretty shallow. I do like a popper when I'm more target fishing, which, to be honest, with the muddier water, I mean, I'm doing that mostly looking for stumps, laydowns, things like that. But if I'm on, let's say, a point or something like that, where I know there's like some scattered stumps, but it's a bit too deep for me to see them, but I'm still shallow, in a situation like that, I'll use a walking bait just to cover water a bit faster than the popper. But that's when I usually pick a walking bait over a popper, when I'm just trying to cover water a bit faster. There's not even really any grass in the main lakes that I fish as well. Just like I said, with it being so dirty, the grass doesn't really grow. How about you guys?
Yeah, I've actually got, so Rand Dizzle and I are going to go try to hit. It's actually an old quarry. Somebody just made that comment. We've got a number of old quarries, around here that they've flooded, filled in, and then they've made little, man-made lakes. We've got one we're going to try to hit. Last 4th of July, we had a ton of schooling fish out just in the middle of the lake. And I mean, we just put a hurting on them till like 11 o'clock, and then they just shut off. But we had a solid 4 hours of topwater, throwing a spook and just, like Hank said, just walking it, just and I mean, we had action all day. A lot of them were only 1-pounders, but I think I caught like a 4 that day. And anything on a walking bait, topwater is fun to me. So,
Sure.
Yeah, that was the key for us, is just watching. Anytime you see those fish schooling and popping on stuff out there, grab a walking bait.
Yep. And that's, for me, it's going to be 2 different times. It'll be the schooling, just like Debo said, because a walking bait. And a lot of times if they're schooling, pick up that smaller bait, unless you just know they're schooling on a bigger shad. So maybe that junior, that spook junior or something, you'll get them. But, if you want to call up the big fish at first, of course, pick up your standard or but I'm looking for that, or I'm looking for them suspended up. If I'm looking at an area, a point, a ledge, whatever it might be, a rock pile, and for whatever reason they're up in the water column, it could be 30 foot deep, but they're setting at 20 or 15. I can throw a swim bait on them or a spy bait on them, or an underspin. But sometimes it's weird. I've thrown all that, counted it down, and you can pick up that walking bait and just slow walk it out through there, and they'll just come up and crush it.
That's the way it was for us. Like I was throwing a whopper plopper, and I think Ray Dizzle started out throwing a buzz bait. Nothing. I mean, we were bringing it right past the stuff that was blowing up, and it wasn't until I started hitting them with, actually, I think I had one tied on early and then put it away. Then we tried other stuff. But, I mean, early I hit them and then went back to it, and, like, boom, right away they were hitting that walking bait. But they didn't want stuff that was making a ploppy. Nothing to do with that.
So Dave says, school's in session. What's going on, Michael? What's going on, Alan?
I'm doing great.
Lots of familiar names. That's cool that we have so many people that share, you know, the interest in our channels. We've got a bunch of people that watch, you know, and like all of us. That's awesome.
Oh, for sure. Hey, you guys are always mentioning a bunch of my comments that I get, you know, on my videos, you know.
Yeah, same. Yep.
Yep, same.
Joseph, you could use a little more like behind the camera. I'll tell you what, obviously I'm not in my tackle room. My wife, she was out of town and she did something with the computer and we cannot get Wi-Fi on the computer. So we had to actually go to Best Buy, grab a cable to even do the stream. But like I said, the cable won't reach into my room. So that's why I'm stuck here in the anime room here. And I know nothing about computers, too. I'm lucky I know how to turn one on. What's going on, Backlash Pro? Let's see here. Nathan, BassGeek, now new to deep water. What should I throw clear but stain color 10 foot?
Now, another thing about visibility. I can never, for some reason, I stumble on visibility. But with clear water, I mean, it just really depends on what you're around. You know, I always match the hatch. You know, if they're on the bottom, you go over them and, you know, throw that bottom bouncing bait. If they're, you know, suspended up, use something that you can go through the water column. 10-foot viz on a high sun day. And that's going to change it a lot too, you know. The past 2 years, I've done a couple of videos on spy baits, and spy baits are a finesse, but you got to remember it's a hard bait at the same time. So you want, you know, maybe a little low sun, or a low cloud cover, a little bit of chop on the water, something to still break the profile of that bait up. You want them to be able to see it, just not see it real well. Stay super natural and fish from that 10-foot, that edge, to about 10 to 15 feet deep off of that. Sometimes I'll look about 20 foot off that. So if it's 10 foot, you can look a little bit deeper, and that's a good kind of starting point. But you know, that's kind of how I go about it.
Yeah, I don't really answer any clear deep water questions on my channel, so I'm glad that Hank is here.
That's all I fish.
I'll never get over that. I've already brought it up many times. I still can't get over the whole top water 90 foot. That still blows my mind.
It's in fall, you know, once they bring the lakes up and they stabilize in the late spring, early summer, once the water stabilizes, it just continuously gets clearer and clearer until finally you get into the fall, right as they, you know, do the fall drawdown up in the mountains here.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh-wee, in the hills, boys! Woo!
I was just gonna say, you're redneck up there in the mountains.
Yeah.
See how Dave says, where'd I go? After a storm trashes a lake pond, how do you fish it? I typically go just a bit bigger in profile, definitely a darker color. I mean, after the rain, it's really going to dirty it up. And like I said, I'm already fishing pretty dirty water the way it is, but there's going to be usually zero visibility where I'm at after a good rain. So, you know, a jig, creature bait, and I'm target fishing. So I'm looking for stumps, laydowns, anything that will hold the bass. You know, they're going to be tight to cover in that real dirty water. What about you guys?
I would say one thing to look for are any sort of runoff pipes. So a lot of places we have here are, you know, the lakes will have spots where, you know, overflows, that kind of stuff, where either water's running in or running out. Anywhere you've got like running, churning water, especially like when it gets, not necessarily today, but like when you've had a constant stretch where it's just hot as blue blazes and you finally get a good storm rolling through and you've got that water churning, you know, moving water. Actually, here's a question for you guys too. You know, moving water is going to create more oxygen, usually going to be a little bit cooler. Now, one thing that we were talking about last night on my live was, so places that have clearer water, usually you're going to have more vegetation, right? Because that water's clearer, you can get sunlight down to it.
Right.
But does it act as a double-edged sword? Like, does the plant, does the whatever vegetation it is, filter the water too and also make it cleaner? I guess that was a good question. Somebody asked that, and I'm like, I don't know if they do or not. I just know that if it's clearer water, the sunlight can penetrate farther down and you can get more vegetation growing versus somewhere that's real dirty.
Some plants do.
Okay. Cool. I didn't even think of
Like
that.
there's a certain type of coontail that grows in a couple of smaller lakes around me. And it really, I mean, by fall, it looks like you get out there on a dead set calm day, and I mean, it looks like you're on a glass, bottom. It's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, I've never really thought about it that way.
And as far as, go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go.
As far as me, when storms trash it up, anytime they raise the water. Now we've actually had this discussion too. Normally 2-3 days after, you don't go immediately. Like if it raised 5 feet in the middle of the night, generally they're going to hold off once it stabilizes. But that's when I'm going to pull out those shallow diving crankbaits. Those if it's a lot of trash like wood, good old spinnerbait.
Yeah,
that's what
hard
I like
beat
to
spinnerbait. I just kind of go off what Debo was saying about does the vegetation kind of make the water like clearer. I fish one lake, which I haven't fished it in years, and I started fishing here recently, and it's pretty stained for the most part. It might have maybe a foot or so of visibility, but on the back end of it's only like I think around 200 acres, but on the back end of it, there's 2 coves that are loaded with vegetation, and I'm not really sure really what it is, but it's kind of weird. When you go through with the trolling motor, it blows around everywhere. It's almost like it's not even like attached to the bottom, if you know what I mean. But for whatever reason, like the mouth of the cove is pretty stained, and it starts to clear up as it gets to this grass or whatever this is. And when you get in the middle of it, I mean, it's every bit as clear as this bottle of water here. Like I said, the rest of the lake is so stained up, but there's just those couple coves that got that grass, and it was pretty crazy just how clear it is. But that grass really isn't anywhere else but those 2 coves there, Yeah, I really don't even know what kind of, like I said, vegetation it is.
Yeah, I need to brush up on that. I'm kind of like Hank. I know like coontail, that straight grass stuff. I don't know what the hell it's called, but like there's a few that I know, but the rest of the stuff is like, oh, vegetation.
Right.
I was fishing vegetation. What was it?
If it's submergent, just look for the greenest you can find.
Yeah, exactly.
So Chris says, Nico rig has been clutch for me. Also liking the 6 Sense worms. What's going on, Jeff?
I love a Nico rig.
That's something I just haven't fished that much. I need to get on that more.
Oh man, I swear it's like if a shaky head and a wacky rig had a baby.
Let's see, here's one here. Let's see here. Cool Granddaddy, sweet forever. Appreciate $10. Let's see, all right, guys. I'm an old fart, disabled, and fished trout in ocean all my life, but now $2,700 into gear and never bass fished other than striped. Guided kayak, pontooned lake, Mohave to start with. Hold on a second here. Where am I? All my life,
Is that Arizona? Mojave
$2,700 to gear and never bass fish other than striped. Got a kayak, pontoon to start with. So what you're asking here, like where to start as far as bass fishing goes, or like what gear to get?
I think he's already bought $2,700.
Yeah. So I'm assuming you haven't caught any bass yet, and you have the gear. Is what I'm assuming here.
Yeah.
Bought $2,700 worth of gear, got a divorce. Now he's got a bunch of free time because he spent that much money.
Right.
So he's saying, what do I do?
Yeah, if we're reading this right, if you're not catching any fish, I think one thing I kind of is guilty of in the very beginning was you get caught up in all the lures, and then you really don't learn how to fish anything.
Yep.
So if it was me, I would concentrate on like a worm, like we've been saying. You can't beat a worm. A moving bait like a spinnerbait. Just grab a few baits that you can get some confidence in. Learn how to fish those lures before $2,700 worth of gear. That could be a whole lot of lures. And if you're just tying them on right and left and not really learning how to fish them, most likely you won't end up catching any fish. So I would just calm down a bit and just concentrate on a couple lures is what I would do.
And the other thing, no matter what we tell you here, the key to it all, if you're fishing a lake, is seasonal migration and, seasonal patterns. You've got to know what the fish are doing in all, times and stages of the year. That's the biggest key I can give you. Do your research, understand what the fish are doing, and that's going to give you and where they're going to basically be going for what time of year it is and what water temps you're seeing. Because you will fish in the summer. If you're fishing out like we're not sure if that's Mojave or, something out in Arizona, those lakes are generally clear lakes and very, very deep, like clearer than lakes than what I fish. And so, you're going to have to really spend time, fishing, a little bit deeper and clear water, which is just like Tackle Junkie said, it's about, or current, like DEBO said too. That's the keys. That's the keys in summer fishing. Main lake, deep points, ledges, backs of creeks, active water, or grass. And that's what you're looking for 90% of the time. Those three things: find grass, find current, or find deep main lake points during the summer. You'll catch fish.
Great tips. Casey, with a $20 donation, really do appreciate that, bud. All the donation just goes back into the channel.
Wild child kart racing right there.
Let's see here. Let's see here. Where are we at? Here's one. What's everyone's favorite soft plastic?
Are we talking brand, style? How are we going to answer this?
Let's just go style.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, probably a craw. You can swim a craw, make it look like a shad or a bluegill. You can drag a craw, make it look like a crawfish, or just by changing color and how you work it, you can make a craw pretty much look like anything. I'm going to go with the craw.
Yeah, that's hard to argue. I would say some sort of creature bait with like flappy feet or appendages. So, you could go craw. I was thinking something like almost like a D-bomb or, gosh, I'm trying to think of what else, just because I used that one recently. Or a craw. A big worm is good, or any sort of worm, maybe even just an 8-inch worm, honestly. Not going too big so you can use it anytime, flipping and pitching around wood. Like, that's my second favorite way to catch them. So really anything with just a little bit of movement. Yeah, Frank said the kinky beaver. That'd be a good one. Or even just like the man bear pig, something little like that.
So I'm going to disqualify the swim bait because everybody obviously knows that. And I'm going to say probably the same thing that like DEBO said, and is probably, any sort of like that same style of like the D-bomb, the structure bug, that sort of thing for me, just because you can rig it so many different ways and fish it.
Any of you guys using the Chigger Craw Crazy Legs? That's actually one of my favorites, the Crazy Legs. I think I was buying the regular ones, and then I bought the Crazy Legs. I kind of stopped buying the regular ones. If I didn't want the extra action, you could just pull those off. Yeah. And then they had the Chigger Quad, and I started doing that with those, buying the quads, and just kind of pulling off whatever appendages I didn't want. But yeah, that's a good bait.
That is a good bait.
It's kind of funny. I was fishing with my dad years ago, and like I said, majority of the water is pretty stained and muddy. And I think the color it was from them. It was called I think cinnamon purple. And we were just pitching to some bushes, and we were getting hit after hit. And I thought I had like some special color figured out, So I go home, order like 10 packs of those. That was the last time that I caught a fish on that color.
Oh, I know what I was thinking before. The Pit Boss was
that's a good one. Yeah, Pit Boss.
Kind of a craw mix, but.
Let's see here. If you guys see any good questions, let me know.
There's a bunch of stuff ahead. You're gonna catch up to it. So,
Jesse, just wanted to say thank you, fellas. The three of you helped rediscover a love of fishing. Took my daughter worm,
That's
and
awesome.
bobber fishing for Father's Day, and we both had a blast. That is awesome.
That's what it's
Very
about
cool.
right there.
Yes, sir. What's going on, Leanne? Let's see here. Well, spinnerbait and thunder cricket was a go-to for today. You guys throw the thunder cricket much? I've only thrown it a few times.
I do. I like it.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it doesn't get enough love. Like I think actually you might have said it had more of a like finesse like vibration to it, not as much like a hard vibration, but I feel like it's really consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the thing that everybody talks about the jackhammer is how consistent it is. I felt like the thunder cricket was really consistent.
I don't really feel that the jackhammer is consistent at all.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I really, I'm not a huge fan of the jackhammer. For one,
Really?
I think it's either real speed sensitive or line sensitive. Because to me, I mean, I know they say it hunts and all that, but to me, I think it's constantly blowing out. So I don't know if it's I'm reeling too fast or what. But I'm not a huge fan of the jackhammer.
I only used it a couple times, but I felt it was really consistent. I really like the thunder cricket. I've used the thunder cricket more. I liked it a lot.
I like the thunder cricket. You know, during the spring when I ever get to fish that sort of stuff. Now,
come out this way, damn it! You just got the new trailer. Put it to use. Take some time off.
Right.
But out this
Picasso.
way.
What's the Picasso? Their
shock blade.
Yeah, the shock blade. Now, let me tell you about a secret bait. I did one video on it last year, and like nobody watched it. I'm kind of happy, but man, those up in that 1.5 ounce, and I think they go all the way to like 2 ounces.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
out there deep, and you throw that. You can throw anybody's. I like the Yamamoto. What is the little
Zacho?
Yeah, the Zacho. Yeah, on there, and man, those things are awesome.
Have you thrown the pros yet?
No, I don't think I have.
Yeah, the pros, they're much tighter. They're much tighter, and then the standard shock blade, they're a bit wider.
Oh, never mind. Disregard my comment.
Let's see here. Elax05. I was talking to him actually before the stream. For all three, any recommendations for a combo for heavy cover, budget, and non-budget? Actually, I had talked to him before the stream and gave him my answer on that. I'll go ahead and let you guys go with that one.
Any recommendations?
Heavy cover combo, budget, and non-budget.
Oh my. I was just gonna say real quick, Hank, you should get some of these and throw them as your deep water chatterbaits.
Oh, show me. Ooh, I like the hair, man.
TNA tackle. It's called the Angry Dragon.
I was saying, is that a dragon head? That's what I'm saying. That's
it's a dragon head. It's a musky. Yeah, it's a musky lure. But I think
would downsize that blade, but I swear to you that would work.
Dude, it's pretty crazy. It's got a big old ribbon grub integrated into the. I'm throwing it. It looks cool. It talk about thump. It got thump. Anyway, we digress. Elax05, what do you think, Hank? Man, dude, there's so much good tackle out there now. Like I get tackle questions all the time, and it's like the hard part is you've got to get some of it in your hands because some of it fits. Like Randizzle was trying out a combo today. He's like, dude, this feels really good. Like, what's this rod? You know, like there's some you just put in your hand and they feel good. And it doesn't matter the price. Like there's some stuff that's pricier for me that I put it in my hand and it's just not comfortable. There's budget stuff that I grab and I'm like, man, I would rather fish this. So like,
well,
dude, it's hard.
A group of rods that amaze me, and that's some of the Piscifun or Piscifun, however you say that. They're torrents, and then what are the
Phantom X? Those are pretty good.
Phantoms, yeah. And they're both of those I think are under $100. I think the torrent is like under $50. I mean, it's amazing rod wise. It's amazing rod wise what you can find out there for cheap, and they make a heavy cover.
Plus, the good thing is, like a lot of those $100 rods, you can usually find them at 15, 20, whatever percent off. You can get a $100 rod for $20 off. Sometimes even like I got the SLX rod, $100 rod, half off at like
that's a
Black
good
Friday
rod
or whatever.
Yeah.
$50 for $100 rod. Look for those deals,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, what I'm flipping with my kind of heavy cover is it's actually a Dixie custom rod. I think it's not expensive. It's a 165 for literally a custom handmade rod.
Right, not bad at all.
It's called the meat stick.
Does it have
It's
girth?
definitely got some girth in the backbone. Girth.
Okay, here's one. Chris, hey fellas, what are your opinions on weight jig head colors? Do you have to match colors or have to go for anything? Thoughts on bare lead heads? Years ago, and I think it was all in my head. It's when I kind of really first started bass fishing. I had a thing with red weights, and I don't really know if it made a difference or not, but it was more of a confidence thing. Like I thought it did, And like I said, I think as I ran out of them, I just went back to black, and I kind of forgot all about it. But like I said, I think it was more in my head than anything. Maybe it really does make a difference, but like I said, years ago, I just had more confidence in a red weight.
Yeah, pretty much like
talking about. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go for it.
Are we talking about jig heads, like jigs?
Yeah, like either a plain jig head or a chartreuse jig head, or like a red weight or a black weight, just the head itself, or the weight, like a color. Does it make a difference?
Yeah, like if a Texas rig weight, I pretty much always just go straight black. Like I get the no chip tungsten stuff, and it's just black, and I just roll with that. Now, if it's like a jig head, like a flipping and pitching jig, most of those usually you're going to find, some sort of colored painted. If it's like a swim bait head, I'll throw a straight lead all day if it's something moving that they're not going to get a good look at, so.
And I'm the same way. I'm a little paranoid in clear water. Like if I'm throwing, depends on how thick the cover is. If the cover's real thick, I don't mind throwing a black. If I'm flipping, generally I'm throwing tungsten, but I like that green, just something just a little more natural, but yeah. And then, right up to swim bait heads, I'm the same way. No matter how clear it is, 90% of the time I'm throwing one or two swim bait heads, and it's either going to be that finesse ball head from Cumberland or the ledge head by Ledge Head Lures, and both of those are straight lead. I don't put much into it. Now the one thing when it comes to swim baits, like I don't like 4-eyed swim baits. I don't know. I got a problem with that. It's probably just a me problem, but like I do like eyes on a swim bait head, like if you're throwing like, the Kitex, or if they don't have eyes, I do kind of like eyes. And a lot of times you'll notice I'll put little black dots on my swim baits, because that's actually a target, especially if they're, targeting certain types of shad, gizzard shad, threadfin, that have that little black dot on there.
I don't know if I just plugged it in better. I think so.
Who let the dogs out?
Did I miss something there? What are you saying? You're rapping?
Nothing. No, nothing. Said you look good, brother. You look good.
I see people said that the stream's dark. Becca's down here trying to open windows up and stuff.
Yeah,
And then I also see the battery's about dead on the computer.
I just kind of see the.
It looks like you're about ready to go to a rave or something.
She's like, I'm seeing all these texts. Like, turn the light on. I can't reach it.
Come on, Jim.
The plan was to do this in my room, of course. I didn't think I'd have to do it in here. Okay. I think most people just listen to this as they're driving anyway, so they don't need to see me.
Yeah, we just want to hear your beautiful
While you're in
voice.
here, babe, since you screwed the computer up, you say hi.
I'm so sorry, everybody.
No.
We're just joking, babe.
Screw the computer up.
Are we? Are we joking? All right. What is your go-to knot for fluorocarbon?
Double shindo. Doubled over clinch knot.
I've never had an issue with. I know a lot of guys complain about the Palomar knot. I swear by it. I never have had an issue with it. And it's kind of fun. I've seen Wheeler make a video on this. And as he's pulling the knot tight, he talks about the loop. and he actually twists the line to flip it over. Well, I always take that loop and I bring it with the main line and tag in, wet it all, and pull it up. So I never actually have that loop kind of on the back side like he showed in his video. And maybe that's why I've never had a problem with it. But I mean, I think as long as you, from the jump, if the lines are not twisted and you bring that loop up, I've never had any issues with the Palomar knot.
Yeah, me either. I use I don't really know if there's a name for it. It's kind of like I call it a simple San Diego. It's, with the San Diego, once you kind of run it around, you'll run it up and down. I just run it up and then cinch it down. Voila, we are complete. It's just really fast. And it's also, it keeps the...
And you are derived.
I don't know what's going on here. It's too dark. It's too bright.
Good Lord, Jim, this is falling apart quick.
I know. I'm saying I can't even see over here. That's why I closed the blinds when it first started, because the sun was like right in my eyes. Let's get this over with. All right. I will say, old BassGeek, he does a great job on the electronics. I need to get you down here and really fine-tune mine.
Same. I just put one on my aluminum kayak. I need your help. We can both fit in that little 11-foot kayak. I think it has a 250-pound weight limit. We're good.
Sit like this, but it wouldn't be the first time I've been in there.
Both of us in there, we'll even it out. It'll be good. And even if we're not okay, it'll make for a fun video.
Oh, yeah. I can swim. It's all good. I
Huge
just
mistake. Both of us almost drowned. $10,000 mistake.
Yeah.
DEBO, that aluminum jumbo's worth like $500 at most.
All right. TS, who's got the best tackle collection out of the three of you? Let's hear the debate.
Oh, dude.
There's a reason one of us is called Tackle Junkie.
Yes.
DEBO, I can see behind you, man. You're pretty stacked there, too.
Don't even, Jim. Don't even bring me into this. Come on.
No.
He's trying to shift blame. All 10 rods that I have back there versus your... How many racks did we count last time? 6 racks full of stuff?
I don't know what you're talking about, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. Next question.
Go back and watch. What was it on my channel? Where was the live stream when Jim was literally just every day anybody would ask for? It was all at arm's length, too.
Yeah. Have you ever heard that one thing? He's like,
yeah.
I mean, I just got lucky with the questions. I happen to have those baits right there.
And then he like
it doesn't
had the
happen all
fresh
the time.
box of stuff by him too. He's like,
ask me right now. I don't have anything.
Hey, hold on. Actually, here I got this box. That's when I was trying to get those damn Picasso underspins because I wanted to try one, and I'm like, I gave up.
Yes.
I just got a bunch of those in it.
He bought all those up like it was Bitcoin.
Oh. Yeah, that was a good one.
Hey guys, what bait would you all use besides the frog for fishing heavy lily pads? Besides the frog.
Gosh, yeah.
I don't need anything more than the frog. Give me the frog.
Yeah, frog would do it for me.
I would say a belly weighted swim bait is a good one. Depending on how heavy it is, you can go with like a creature bait that doesn't have a bunch of flappies on it, like a Reaction Innovation Sweet Beaver, something that goes straight through and you can like pinpoint stuff. Like if there's a bunch of pads and then like one big log laying in those pads, man, drill that log. Like,
so you're talking about just basically punching the mats.
I'm not even talking about punching. Like around here, we have mats that aren't like thick enough that you don't have to punch. So like I usually throw a 3/8 ounce as my go-to, like most of the time. And around here, if you just kind of have sparse, he didn't say really. Oh, heavy.
So you're looking for holes in the pads, basically. Then.
Yep, holes in the pads by any sort of stuff. But if it's real heavy, I mean, get a punch rig going. I don't do that very much. I should, but once I have a frog and I see something blow up on a frog, I'm like, oh, everything else can go away. I've got a frog.
One of the ponds that I fish, it actually has a bunch of lily pads on it. And when I was out with my boy the other day, we were throwing buzz baits. I mean, I could have grabbed the frog, but I would just throw in the buzz bait along the pads, and they were just coming out from the pads and eating it.
Yeah, I don't. There's not really there's one small lake that I keep swearing that I'm going to start fishing, and still yet in the past 2 years have not done it as much as I want to, and it's full of dollar pads, the smaller ones. But I've not done a whole lot with that, so that's kind of.
Let's see here. Paul, Zoom Mag Trick Worm or the Strike King Bullworm. They both produce, but seems the Mag has more action. I don't think I've even fished the Strike King Bullworm.
I like the Bullworm, but it's heavy. I prefer my Zoom mag trick worm saltless, which is an option, and they'll stand up.
There you go. Good tip.
Point. And I think that bullworm, I actually had a buddy that was fishing that caught his PB, that bullworm, because if I remember right, one side of it's flat where it almost looks like a hand poured thing on those bullworms. He was fishing it like that with a weight, so it was down, that flat side was down, and it fell in like a real weird direction, and he had it wacky rigged. Talk about
wow.
Yeah. And that's what he caught his PB on. He actually caught 2 huge fish that week on it. But
wow.
I've honestly not thrown both of them enough to really give. I've thrown, what is the Zoom mag, the smaller Zoom mag trick worm? Because there's like a smaller one that's like real thick, like the fat one.
Mm-hmm.
I've thrown that. I like it a lot, but I haven't thrown like the real big trick worms a ton. Whatever that small, I don't remember what that is. I have to go see if I can find it.
Look at Debo. He knows he's got him turning around. He's hanging him on his wall.
What's him trying
Hey, hold on. Yeah, this?
You know he's got a box right under his table there. You know,
There, I'm not even going to turn the camera. There's a couple sitting
because he knows. He knows. That's right. Robbie, talking about Debo and then Zillion. We know Debo loves Zillion.
Dude, I think it might be my favorite reel in my arsenal right now.
Yeah.
Now, like, I can't say for everything because I haven't used it for like real heavy, hard stuff yet. So I don't know if it would hold up to that. But like for just any sort of regular. But again, it should. Like, to me, any reel over $300 should feel.
Zillions are tough.
Amazing,
dude, yeah.
You know, so it's like, I don't know. Yeah, man, that's a good one. I like it a lot.
To be honest, I got a couple of those a couple weeks ago. I still haven't spooled them up yet. I need to get that done tomorrow.
You know, we were talking about using the one of the DCs like the SLX for skipping.
Oh, they're awesome, dude.
But how well do they hold up to, because, if I'm skipping, it's around some docks and, you're going to have to drag it out. How tough are they?
The SLX, I can't really speak for as far as the DC goes. I haven't even used that one yet. But the Corrado, dude, it's built pretty tough. I wouldn't think you'd have any issues at all with that Corrado.
Good.
It's a solid reel, man. And so smooth. It's got that, I think what they call it, the micro gears in it or whatever. Dude, you don't feel anything on that Corrado, dude. It is awesome.
You have a Metanium, Jim?
Yeah.
What do you think of the Metanium? Have you used the Metanium?
No, that's why I ain't spooled up yet either.
Oh my God, Jim.
Actually, it's funny. I have 2 of them. I have 2. I haven't spooled either one up. Well, to be honest, because I got those for the Psycho Sticks. I don't know if I even told you guys that. My second order of Psycho Sticks smashed as well.
Yeah, you did tell us.
Why I haven't even
I
spooled
don't
them
have
up.
either of those. I've got some. I don't know where, but here's a. Let's do a pop quiz hot shot. What color Zoom trick worm is this?
Oh,
hold
my
on.
God.
Let me take it out. I think
I don't
this
use
is
Zoom that much, so I'm not in this one. This is Hank.
Oh, really? Okay, here we go. For all my bait nerds out there, I believe this is a Dick's exclusive. If I remember reading correctly, I think they sell them other places now. This is my favorite color trick worm ever. It's like black on top, black with like greenish flake, purple on bottom.
That's a good looking trick.
It's the secret. Yeah. It's the secret sauce.
What's it say?
Gooseberry.
Gooseberry?
Gooseberry.
I believe it was a Dick's exclusive. I don't don't think they make it anymore. I nabbed a bunch of them. I know a few people. It's kind of like an underground deal, but I've got 2 big bags of them left. Looks like one I condensed, so I've got maybe 3 bags left. I don't know where those fat Zoom were. I was just going to show people for reference. But.
They're right there, man. Quit playing it off, dude. They're right there.
Oh, man, I can't find it.
Bill Price, we appreciate $10, brother. Just caught a 3-pounder in a downpour of rain while wearing my TJ81 shirt. Dude, it's got to be the shirt, brother. It's got to be the shirt. Appreciate you, man. Richard, appreciate the $5, buddy. Remember, guys, at the end of the stream here, we're going to do just a random comment for the Elite Box. So stay tuned for that. We've been on about an hour. We'll stay on for, what do you guys want to do, another 20, 30 minutes and get off?
Sure. I'm always down to talk fishing, dude.
Okay.
I'm getting woke up now. I hit a little wall there for a minute.
Oh.
It's probably just my screen was so dark, you're about ready to go to sleep.
Yeah, I was about ready to go to sleep till you started that rave up. Now I'm ready to party.
Where's my glow sticks?
Yeah.
Okay, Josh. Well, hey guys, when do you use leaders with braided line? I don't use leaders at all, so I would not be the one to answer that one. What about you guys?
I use it on all my spinning setups. I'm braid to leader on everything. And really, I honestly don't use leaders on my casting stuff unless it's a braid combo that I have and I want to throw like a moving topwater bait that's not straight retrieve, like a popper or a walking bait. I'll tie like a 17 or 14 pound mono leader. But otherwise, like I hate connection knots on my casting combos. If it's dirty enough, I'll go straight braid. If it's not, like I don't have a problem going, 20-pound fluorocarbon. So.
Yeah, even with spinning halftime, I'll go straight braid. I mean, it's so dirty.
Yeah, and Debo's dead on. It's even with my top waters, generally I'm using some cheap braid as backing, and then it's either straight fluoro, straight mono, or just like he said, if I've got like my flipping rod, I'll put maybe 2 or 3 cast worth of fluoro on there and put good braid on it. So in case I'm fishing grass, which is the only time I ever, which is hardly ever, I'm using that braid on that flipping combo. So the spinning rods, I do the same thing. And even then I put like a minimum of like most of the time a 15-foot fluoro leader on most of my spinning combos.
What's your go-to braid you guys use on spinning?
I'm a power pro. Is that right?
I mean, like what pound test?
10 pound.
10.
I'm usually 15.
And why do you guys think that is? I use this for 320, but why do some guys go 10, 15, 20? Is it water clarity or further casting distance or? I mean, because even at 20 pound, I mean, the diameter is still so small on 20.
Yeah, yeah.
Why do you go 10?
10 to 15 casting distance. I mean, on a spinning rod, the reason I go 10 is because spinning drag is generally better than, caster drag. So you can get away with that 10 if you've got your drag set up right and not bust that knot off too.
Yeah, and I think for me, like certain baits, like if I'm throwing a 1/16 ounce Ned rig, which I throw a lot, from the bank, if I'm trying to throw that on 20-pound braid, like that, even 20-pound braid, like is a little bit big, like it's a little bit stiff if you're trying to work like a small, light finesse thing. So if you go with like 15 pound and then go to like an 8-pound leader, like that really helps not impact the bait. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but like even with like, I like the Power Pro V2 Super Slick, for example, is one that I used like a couple years ago. And I had 20 pound on right away and then pretty quick switch to like 10 pound. Like that is a little bit thicker braid. So it depends like what braid you get versus like if you go to Sunline Siglon, like that stuff is like thread. I don't know if you've ever used that, but it's like 10 pound of that is like, it's scary how tiny that, like you could use 10 pound
real
almost
small diameter.
Yeah. So
I've been wanting, there's a company, it's called Canine. And I've got a buddy who swears by it. And he's a good stick. He swears by it's like pink, but it's like on the darker side of pink braid. And he uses it in clear. He uses it in clear water straight to the bait and swears that it just disappears in the water, that they can't see it. So I've thought about trying it. I use high vis. Do you guys use high vis braid on like especially on my spinning combos, because good Lord, that fluorocarbon, you can't see it.
Yeah. Same spinning combos I do for my frog. I just always use green.
Yeah.
See, Hank, could you go over your Mag Nico setup, worm, weight, and hook?
Weight is the heaviest I can get, and heavy weight Nikos are hard to find. They are hard to find. So 90% of the time, I'm happy if I can find something. Depending on how deep I'm fishing, I'm generally going to fish something in that. A lot of times, about the heaviest I can ever find is about a 3/8 ounce. So if I can get that 3/8, I'm happy. As far as the hook goes, generally, I can't remember. I don't remember the name of the Mustang hook that I like to use. It's just a nice little circle hook. And that's really it, man. I'll put an O-ring over it, hook it up right there, and 3/8 ounce. Now, if I really wanted to get a little bit deeper, I'll actually shove a nail and then put the Nico. And I like the head, so I like the screw-on heads. I think Picasso makes some too, the screw-on heads. Mm-hmm. And the reason why is because when you're down deep like that, I like that little ticking on the bottom that weight makes. So line-wise, I go, rod reel line. I'll go back and forth between a light bait caster, depending on how heavy it is, and I'll throw it on a heavy spinning rod combo, but 90% of the time I'm gonna throw it on some sort of 12-pound test, fluoro, that sort of setup.
Fat Boy, I tend to fall into a phase of always throwing the same lures even when I'm not catching them due to last experience. Does this ever happen to you? And if so, how do you combat that? Yes, I'm guilty.
Very guilty.
Yeah.
Here too.
So how long do you guys stick with a lure before you change it up?
I'm the world's worst about changing baits, probably too much.
No, really?
I tend to go the other way. Like today, I was set on it was going to be a frog day.
Right.
And I only picked up other lures a couple times, and I was like, I'm do or dying by the front. I'm going to get on it. I had faith in it.
Yeah, so that's why it's confidence thing. If I go out set to do it one way, it's either it's do or die. I guess if I was when I fish with Phantom Fishing, he's a tournament fisherman, so he's constantly changing things up because he does what he has to do to catch fish. Where I'm trying to catch them the way I want to catch them, you know what I mean? Where he's doing it differently. Yeah, I'm guilty.
That's me too. Where I like to fish tournaments, I probably change too much, Now, if I get out there, there's a lot of times if I get out there and I know that I can start catching something, it's a tough day or it's, less than, as my brother or son-in-law tells me all the time, he's like, if you're not catching 3-pounders, you don't care. You're like, you're done. you're hating it. You're miserable. And he's right. If I'm having to grind a worm, a shaky head just to catch, 1s and 2s, I'm done. I'm going to the house. It's beer and wings for me, man. I'm out.
Here's a good one here from Trevor. What tips would you suggest to try techniques that you're not used to without going to autopilot and start throwing your confidence bait when the bites don't come right away? So that's a tough one for me.
Nailed it. Yeah, I think we just nailed it. If you have your confidence baits, you have a tendency to go to them, so don't bring those. If there's a newer lure you want to try or new combo or whatever, only bring that.
And I think like we've talked before, what kind of applies to us is with the time we have right on the water, I don't give new baits a whole lot of time because I'm trying to get a fishing video or whatever. So, I mean, if it ain't working within an hour or so, it ain't happening. I go to what I think I can catch fish on versus what I wanted to try,
And for me, I think it's to gain confidence in a new bait. It's a crossroads. You have to know when what that bait does. Is it a bottom bouncing bait? Is it a mid-tier bait? Is it a topwater bait? And then you have to know the migration of the fish, where they're going to be, and when it matches the use of that bait. So you have to understand how the bait is supposed to be used. You have to understand how the bait is supposed to be. And again, you can always think outside the box. But if you're building confidence in a bait, understand how that bait is supposed to be or designed to be presented to the fish, and then make sure you know the migration of the fish, because that's when that bait, it's the lakes that I fish, it's all about timing. Time of year, you're going to fish these during the pre-spawn, these during the spawn, these during the post-spawn, these during the summer's post-spawn to summer transition, these during the summer, these during the fall to, and that's really what it's like. There's not one bait that's going to work all the time. You have to understand that bait's presentation and then understand where those fish are and just leave that bait at home until you understand it's that time.
That was a great answer, dude. Nice job.
Thank you, Obi-Wan.
Okay, trailers on a spinnerbait. I very rarely put a trailer. One, I don't want the extra lift. So I definitely usually never put a swim bait on there unless I want like a big Colorado blade and I want some lift so I can reel even slower. But even then, I still do better with a willow. I hardly even ever put Colorado blades on. But if I'm looking for some bulk, I might put a bait that doesn't really have any action. Like years ago, I used to use hammer shads a lot just to give the skirt just a little bit more bulk. But I don't want a trailer that really gives me any more lift. So really, I hardly ever put trailers on spinnerbait.
Me, I'm just a grub during the shad spawn. It's about the only time I ever use
Grub.
it.
Yeah, like I go in phases. Like when I was younger, I always used those like, I think now they're Zoom, but it was like whatever the little twin tail things were.
Yeah.
I always put those on, or like a curly tail, like it was actually an auger tail from Mans is what I always used. Now I'll use like a Kitech, whatever the longer, skinnier ones are that aren't like real big and thick, like something that's small, or even a fluke, just to add a little bit more weight to it and a little bit of bulk. But yeah, I go back and forth. Like, yeah, I like both ways.
Fat Boy says he tried the Thunder Cricket if it had a hand-tied skirt. Also, he agrees jackhammer blows out all the time. I thought I seen somebody else said something about trick with the jackhammer, half ounce or higher. So have you guys ever thrown like 3/8? Do you guys throw 3/8?
I threw one of each.
I think 3/8 and half ounce is about what I've got.
You guys have any issues with 3/8?
I didn't, but I was fishing it shallow, so
I'm always throwing a half ounce. That's sort of the starting point for me if I'm throwing one.
Let's see here. Nick says, Debo, do you still have the FX custom rod you reviewed a while back? Just curious if you brought it into your arsenal.
I do, yeah. Actually did that video pitching that Missile Baits D-Bomb just a couple videos ago. I caught a chunk on it. Yeah, it's a nice rod. I like it.
Fat Boy says, do you think sensitivity has more to do with comfort balance than it does with the actual blank?
Dude, that's such a hard question. I get those questions all the time. Like, how do you compare the sensitivity factor of $100 rod versus $160 rod versus a $200 rod? Like, how do you put into words and like tell somebody the difference? Because like when it comes down to it, I'm a huge believer in fingering your line. I talk about it all the time. Is like when I hold a reel, I always have my finger under it. So like your line comes out here, your line guide. I always hold mine like this. So if I'm working like a jig or a Texas rig, my finger is always right here feeling that line. And watch your line. Like
I've got a scar on mine where even when it's wet, it's like
mine's all gross. But I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Maybe I don't have enough like expensive rods to be like, oh my gosh, dude, put this in your hand and you will net like. I don't know. Like there are some rods I feel like are more sensitive, but I don't know. I've thought about this a lot.
And, I think it's different for everybody, too. I mean, everybody wants a certain feel. I get kind of to go along with that question. I get the question, why do I have 520 rod and reel combos, But
way more than I got. Way more.
No, I don't really have 520.
No.
And did you see how quick Debo just grabbed that reel? Like she's right here.
No.
He's trying his best. But
I don't even have a tackle room anymore.
Yeah. I sold on mine. I didn't need all that. Now I'm into anime.
Everybody doesn't realize that that's actually just like one of those backgrounds from Zoom for Jim.
It's just a fake one.
It's a green screen.
Yeah, I can see it cutting out Jim back there. There's 27 rod racks.
Next question. Paul says, what's your guys' thoughts on 6 cents making the big swim baits and selling them for $80? Do you think it will upset small companies selling them for $150 to $200? Did you guys see that? I think it was Melican put that video out about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't know they were selling big swim baits now.
Yeah, I really don't have any opinion on that. I don't throw big swim baits anyways.
I don't know, dude. I feel like a phony because I got all the big swim bait stuff and like I got a bunch of them. Dude, I just don't have faith in them. Who am I trying to kid? I'm living outside my lane with that crap.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't own a lot of the expensive ones because I'm not going to throw them that much. So I'm just not that dedicated to the big swim bait game.
Right.
I've got niche areas where I'll throw my bull shad and where I'll throw my S waivers, and I catch fish when I'm doing that, or at least see a whole bunch, so I know where to fish other baits. So.
See here. You guys see any questions here? We'll grab a few more questions and we'll call it a night here.
There was one that I saw up there a bit ago.
Bob says, "Why do you always blame it on Becca?" Well, somebody's got to take the fall,
like we always say.
The computer worked fine, and then she took it with her, and she came home and it didn't work. I mean, I didn't even have it in my possession.
It's like murder. The last person that was seen with it, right?
Right. Okay, the best way to retrieve a weighted Texas rig worm. I usually either hop it or drag it.
That's it.
Yeah. So don't underestimate a worm on the back of a spinnerbait either. Sometimes that does work pretty good too.
Dude,
look, he's ready to grab it.
No, I was just gonna say I'm not even gonna do it because I know he's gonna be all over me. Nope.
You ain't fooling nobody.
I was good. That was gonna be a history lesson. That's for historical knowledge purposes. I was using that gear. Now you're rubbing it in my face.
Wait.
Now these poor good fishing folks aren't going to get to see the reference because you ruined it. So remember that Jim ruined the fun here.
Oh yeah, that's what it is.
Somebody's asking me if I have beef with the guy with the ponytail from Tactical Bass.
With Matt?
Yeah, I don't personally know Matt. I don't think we have beef.
Where do you guys fall on the DC reel as opposed to conventional reels? Man, them DC reels are pretty awesome.
They are, man.
Like I said, I believe really I could give my wife a DC reel and she could skip within 5 minutes. That's how much control those reels have. I don't think they're all that comfortable in hand, but they got a lot of control.
The SLX DC that I've got, which is the only DC, the first DC I've ever tried, it's like real small for me.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I didn't even take mine out of the box.
How many reels have we talked about? And Tackle Junkie hasn't even taken them out.
The reels were broke. It's not my fault.
Here's what I want to know. Listen,
you got a Metanium? Oh, yeah. Not out of the box. How many zillions did you get?
I even got a Metanium DC still in the box.
Listen.
Here, I was going to get an old worm from my old green flannel for historical references, and he's giving me crap.
Oh, my gosh.
If Mrs. Tackle Junkie knows the answer to this, how many in-box, unused reels does Jim have right now?
She's probably watching. We'll see if she puts it on there. Better go lock my door.
Oh my God.
All right. You each grab one question if there's any more, and then we'll call it a night. Then we got to figure out a way to pick a winner for the Elite Box too.
Oh, don't ask me. I struggled on mine last night. I did somebody pick a color or whatever, or it was the color of Stubby, my dog, his collar. You know how there's always a delay between what people see and what I'm seeing. So the first one I saw on my screen, I'm like, "You're the winner." Then I had multiple people saying, "I was the winner on my screen." This I'm like, "I'm sorry, Iowa internet." Oh damn! Where's that one I saw?
Because I want to fully heartily thank you because I am on a mission to fill up 2 shoe boxes so far. Mission half accomplished, completed because only 1 shoe box is full. You'll get there, dude.
can't remember where that question was.
James, appreciate $5, buddy. Debo, I know you like to throw a frog. Have you guys seen Brian Landry video on the floating buzz frog by Z-Man?
No, I have
You seen the
not.
video? Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one either.
I did, however, throw the just the other day. I showed this on mine. Through the Z-Man. Oh, dude, it was meant to be. I actually still have that picture up.
You believe that? Oh,
I've
that was a date.
actually been sitting here literally since that live stream, having a beverage. It was the Z. Oh, well, now why is it turning? Come on now.
Just grab the bait. I'm sure it's right below the table there.
Jim, stop it. It's the Z-Man goat on the back of my buzzbait.
Buzzbait.
So the Z-Man goat is like that floating. It's almost like a Rage Menace looking deal. I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, that's I don't know. Z-Man on a buzzbait. That's exactly what Brian Latterman was throwing. He got that tip from me.
Becca answered. She didn't know a number, so.
And I'll have to look that up, though. I do like a buzz frog. Z-Man buzz frog. Let me look this up quick. Hog Snatcher for Life at 836 Jim asked, who throws the 10 or 12-inch worm in the summertime? Now, this conversation got brought up on my channel last night, and I know we talked about it the last time we were all together.
Yeah.
I said, oh, yeah, I'll throw a big worm during the summer, and we're like, oh, what's big? I'm like, well, 10 inches to me is big. And you guys are like, oh, that's not big. I'm like, well, for an Iowa guy, 10 inches of a worm is big. So, yeah, like 10 is like the regular size. Like, I still feel like that's a bigger worm for most people, but like that's my go-to. Like, summertime, like, you know, my old man always used to throw an 8-inch Berkeley power bait, you know, power worm, tequila sunrise. And like, I remember when I was younger, that looked big to me. Like, I wasn't used to fishing, you know, bigger stuff like that. So I think it's like once you start throwing a 10-inch worm, it looks big at first, but or even like what's the other one I've been throwing? The X Zone, like 11-inch blitz worm. Like they look kind of big when you start throwing them, but I mean, dude, dinks will hit them. Trust me.
When you get a 5-pounder and you're lipping him and you look in his mouth, the 10-inch worm is nothing, you know.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, this thing's tiny, and you have to think of the girth of the worm, right? You know, the worm is only as big as your finger. It's not like it's a a swim bait that's this much plastic.
Right.
Right. I don't. Hopefully nobody screenshotted that. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Proceed.
I've seen one, but I've lost
Off the rails. Anyway, there was my question.
Somebody asked about your favorite sun shirt. Mine is the TJ81.
There you go.
Whoop, whoop.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
But I will tell you this from a fat guy perspective. Sun shirts, they're tight. I don't wear them most of the time. Nobody needs to see a tight shirt on this.
Dude, all I used to go out in was just cut off t-shirts, and ever since I've been wearing sun shirts, it's like I can't.
I remember those videos with you.
I always have to have a sun shirt on now.
I like the sun shirts too. Yeah, I don't have very many. I've only got a couple of them, but I usually I have a bad habit of going out. Oh, it'll probably show here. I have a bad habit of going out in. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
short sleeve t-shirt. I am farmer tanned. I don't know why I look really pale in here, but like, yeah, I'm all sorts of farmer tan. T-shirt and jeans. Like if I could wear t-shirt and jeans all year, that's my jam. I remember what it was. It was Fat Boy at 826 was the comment that I was looking for, Jim.
826. We'll make this the last one here.
Okay. He said we should start a group like the Gookins call it the Fresh White New Balance Squad. Since I know all you guys probably get excited when you get a new pair and can wear your old pair for mowing. Dude, I get so excited when I get a new pair of shoes because my old comfortable shoes become my mowing shoes. Dude, Nick, you nailed it. I was cracking up at that earlier, trying not to laugh. Dude, it is so true. You get so excited. You're like, oh, man, now I'm going to have nice, comfortable shoes to mow in.
I just told my wife I need to go buy some new shoes.
I don't own a pair of New Balance, though. I'm not that old yet, dude. Come on.
All right, we need to actually find one last question
New
to answer.
Balance is nice, man. I'm mostly a Sketcher guy, but
I'll tell you, let's pick a Clearwater one here because I don't get to answer many of these. This will be the last question we answer here. Backlash Pro, question for Hank. When fishing clear reservoirs with deep timber with bass suspending around them, what is your favorite technique to target these fish, 15 foot and deeper?
Pretty much the same thing that you're going to be targeting. And it really depends on, when you say standing timber, you know, it's going to depend on how many limbs are still left below the water. If they're suspended up above all the, you know, because that standing timber, most of the time, you know, the tops fall out, it creates brush piles underneath them. So again, swim baits are going to be great. An underspin is going to be really good, and a bigger underspin will be great. And then we go to big worms. Literally just pitch those big worms over there, let them fall down nice and slow. Remember to pit.
Do these worms have girth to them?
They have girth, yes. Yoo! Man, there is no more Coke left in that cup. But remember to pitch, not the other word I about said there, just past those trees, because you'll get a little pendulum back to them there. So, but big worms, those 10, 12, 14 inches are always good. You know, especially if they're relating directly to the trees. Sometimes you're going to have creek channels or ditches, more ditches in there. So really use those edges. Walking baits, if you can get away with it, are great. They'll come up and hit that. If it's popping frogs, popping frogs, if they're down there deep, even buzz baits around that timber, throw it. I mean, learn how to cast to where it'll wrap around those trees, not, you know, woo, 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 and get hung, but you like my sound effect there. But wrap it around, and as it comes up and it hits that tree, it just changes the sound of that buzz bait. And a lot of times they'll come up out of there and hit that. So, you know, just use your imagination. There's a lot of stuff that you can do and swim past those fish.
All right, we got 106 people still on here. Let's pick a winner for the box. Are one of you guys going to write a number down?
Pick a winner!
And everyone in the comments, be honest. Let us know who you see actually got the number first. That's the only way I know how to do this. What do you guys think?
Do it to
What
it.
we're going to do?
Hank, you probably got a pen and paper right there.
Oh, yeah. Wait.
What are we going to do? One through what? One through. We got 100 people on here, so we'll do 1 through 100. Pick a number.
I got something.
And guys, make sure you guys check out BassGeek, DEBO. Those guys are always linked down below. Check them out. Give them some great dudes for sure.
What do you want me to do?
We're going to give away the elite box to one of these lucky winners. Hey, we need
Good
this
dudes.
Doesn't even count yet. Hold on.
Good dudes, not good listeners. Good dudes.
No, whoever started guessing, it doesn't count yet.
Okay, let's change it. 100 to 200. Ha!
Oh.
Is that what you're doing? 100, 200?
That's right.
All right, between 100 and 200. Go.
I've got my number.
Numbers wrote down between 100 and 200. Winner gets the elite box.
Well, it's not really wrote down. It's typed in.
Well, they have to be able to see it. We got to show it to them.
I think they can see it. It's small.
Somebody said 250. It's 100 to 200.
These guys and gals are listening about as well as Hank was earlier.
Hank, you're the only one that knows, Hank. So if you see it, you got to tell us.
I'm watching. Nobody's yet. There's been a couple close.
This is like after you get a blow up on a frog and cast back to it. The suspense is just, is it going to hit it?
Come on.
Is anyone getting close?
This must be the suspense.
There was one that was close. He was off by about 4. Actually, it was off by 5. Come on, keep guessing. I'm watching. Oh God.
We need someone to come up with a good random giveaway prize thing that picks people for us. See, that was the thing I liked about before Becca ruined my Streamlabs experience. Streamlabs, you can turn a thing on and then tell people to comment, and then like it tallies all those people up as they start commenting, and then you can hit like the thing that picks one of them.
Okay.
Which would be cool if.
God, I can't believe nobody's guessed this yet. I picked a great number.
Hey, there's a whole lot of numbers here.
That is Backlash Pro right there.
151.
Yep, 151.
Can you show us the number?
I can. Let's see. I'm hoping here. I'm going to try. Oh, come on, come on. Can you see it right there?
Looks like 151.
It is a 151, so help me God.
We'll give it to
151. You. And where was that at? That was
Backlash Pro.
Looking.
121.62. That is awesome.
Look for the timestamp here.
9:01 p.m.
9:01.
Yeah, they didn't run by me.
We already go too far?
There's probably a bajillion up at 9:01 right there. Nathan Hovey, Joshua Krug, Biscuit.
I can't go up any further.
People Brox, Dave Washburn, Backlash Pro.
Yep, Backlash Pro. 10:01.
I'm not seeing it. I think my comments keep jumping around when people Joshua.
Now other people are saying 151.
I'm not seeing it. Where's it at?
It was there.
There it is. Got it. Oh wait, that's 157. He's got 157. Where's his 151 at? He's not seeing it.
The pain of picking a random winner.
Oh wait, there it is. Got it. There it is. All right.
There it is. I'm gonna go
Backlash
out and find. Pro. I'm gonna go out and find one of those ping pong or the ball thing where you just kind of guess a number, random number. There we go.
That works.
Yeah, but you still have to wait and weed through all the people. I'm saying like something that's automated where I could just click it and it appears on the screen like this. The random winner is, and then boom, it just all shows right there. Woo!
That would be nice.
Done.
So that was nobody's disputing that 151 Backlash Pro.
That was the only one I seen pop up there.
The old lady sent me a picture. He got 157, but he also said 151. So I think she's wrong. Oh wait, hold on a second here. She says the old lady saying Rance Clark is first.
That's up to you.
I didn't see that one.
I don't know if you guys can see it or not. You got me the picture, but I can't see it, can you?
Oh, yeah, I see it. Yep.
So is that the case?
That was just slightly before Backlash. Sorry, Backlash. I did somehow miss that one.
Okay, now I got to try and find it here. Rance 901.
It's still 10:01, but it's way up there.
Okay, see it 188. I can't go any further.
I can't either.
Well, does anybody else, babe? Well, he's got 157 here at 901, and then he had 151, 901. Yeah, since I can't see it, he would have to have it first because I can't go. He's not after him, so then he would have had to have it first.
I don't see any.
But I can't bring it up. So Range Clark.
Rance. R-A-N-C-E.
Oh, she just spelled it wrong here. Okay, yeah. Rance Clark. She's got range. That's something else I can blame on her. She's got R-N-G-E. So Rance Clark. Rance Clark, I cannot bring you up because you're too far back, but you are the winner. Are you still on here, I hope? Rance Clark. There'll be an email in the description, or you can hit me up on Instagram or Facebook. Give me your info, and I'll get that shipped out to you. There he is right there. All right, dude. Send me your info. There's a winner. Guys, let's go ahead and wrap it up. That was an awesome stream. Make sure you guys check out my dudes, Bass Geek, DEBO, and we will see you guys on the next one. We're out.